wrestling and horror, that's all we do. It's time to talk wrestling with me and you. Oh, God, that was terrible. Fucking who watches this stuff? Hello and welcome, folks, to Wrestling with Horror Daily Etep right here with you, joined by AngelousDraven. I know it was a high production value intro there. Yeah, I promised to bring the thunder on that, and I did. And yeah, you know, just the vocal stylings of me, Etep. But we are joined also by superfan Adam Shawhan.
Hail.
What's going on, Adam? Hail, brother.
Not much, man. Right. Just yard work.
Yeah. Well, good to see you. Good to see you. So we've got a lot of wrestling to talk today. Boy. Hope you guys like we got the new logo up there. Vincenzo got that done for us. We changed the Place to Be Reviews hockey mask over. And yeah, we've got the Wrestling with Horror on there now. It's our profile picture on Twitter and here on YouTube as well. So glad to see everybody, though. We're going to retweet this out because that usually gets us more viewers. But we watched AEW Dynamite last night, didn't we, Draven and Adam?
We did.
We watched that.
It was a thing.
Yeah. It definitely was a thing that happened. But damn, there was some okay stuff on there, and then there was just regular AEW stuff that were just like, and if you look at the thumbnail, this is, you know, Excalibur. We don't kink shame here at AEW, and Clown Tony Khan says maybe you should start. Maybe you should start.
Shame is a thing that needs to come back.
It is. We need public shaming.
Shame.
Yeah. But what was your main, like? Okay, so we got a MJF promo, right? We got an MJF promo, and he started out. He came out with a new Triple H jacket. He's marketing a new T-shirt, and out comes Roosh, which right off the bat, I'm just like, there's potential there for a good match, but if you're trying to get, are you going to push Roosh, or are you just going to use MJF to squash him in a one-off? Because you could do a decent program with them, but just putting him out there with Roosh and just being like, all right, go have a one-off match is like, it
is very like anticlimactic, I guess you could say. But if he's got to build himself up to to get a number one contenders or whatever, like it makes sense that he's going to have to go through a bunch of people and people are going to call him out. I was fine with the promo stuff because it wasn't too much. It wasn't like it was less, which was fine because you want to make it make MJF basically an attraction. You don't want to start off like his normal, you know what I mean, over the top kind of full bore promo, like right out the gate when he comes back.
No, you got to show a little bit of restraint with him because, and here's the thing. What up, Instant Regret?
Hail.
Nope, it's me. It's me. It's nobody's jocking my style. It's just me. It's me.
It's Etep.
It is. I was actually like, I'm just not even going to use the Etep name anymore. I'm just going to start going by my shoot name and just say fuck it. But no, this
Roosh on the mic though is not great.
No, and I understand that you have a Spanish contingent, a Spanish-speaking contingent, but you know the mainstream crowd's got to be able to understand at least the gist, and that's one thing. When MJF incorporated a little bit of Espanol, he still made it to where it's like, okay, the layman can pick up what's going on. I'm not saying, hey, you know, don't go out and speak. You know, Roosh, you can absolutely do that because it does work with his gimmick. But goddamn, man, I don't know. I have a feeling they're not going to do a program. Which, I mean, you could you could do a program with this and you have to be very careful about what you do, because you don't want to just squash Roosh.
No,
okay,
because they've
with MJF.
stopped and finished him like I don't know how many times, and from like injury for and then suspending him for fucking whooping Jungle Boy's ass, basically.
That was one of the best things I've ever seen out of him, was him shooting on fucking Jack Perry and just beating the piss out of him.
I don't remember if it was ROH or whatever. It might have been one of the pay-per-views before it, where they were supposed to win their match with AR Fox, and they did it, and they just literally straight up beat their ass afterwards. Which was good.
Well, I mean, they had a history, though. That's the thing. Because he had hired him, I think, to take out Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bella.
Yep.
And so, I mean, there is a little bit, which even I know, because back then we were all watching.
Yep.
So there is pre-existing. My only thing with MJF is he technically lost the title and left, and you would think still have a rematch, in most technically. So you could cut out all the bullshit and just have him go straight, but you would want it to be like I would have him like whoop Samoa Joe's ass. Okay. Like that's where I would start personally to get to that piece of shit Adam Cole, or, maybe a couple of those guys. But if he's starting from scratch,
but you can't,
but if you start from scratch, this would be a good spot. And again, to go back to where you guys were, real quick, this is a perfect way to do it. I feel this would be the perfect guy to start out with, but let it build a little bit. Don't just let it be a one-off, like you were saying.
Yeah, like feed. Okay, so next week, or if you want to pop the rating on Collision, feed MJF somebody. Feed him somebody, and then Roosh comes in to interfere. MJF, the match might get thrown. You go with a couple fuck finishes, because you don't want MJF going over on Roosh, and you don't want Roosh going over on MJF, because, like I said, you have to be. If you put Roosh over on MJF and Tony Khan doesn't have the balls to do this, it's count out or disqualification.
Has to be.
It's got to be, because there's no fucking way. And I don't want to see 50-50 booking out of this. When they finally work, say, I mean, MJF could beat him twice and just leave it at that. But, you gotta do it right. You have to handle him right, because they fucked up his title reign so bad. So they get into their little scrap. And I did like MJF taking a shot at Okada's physique. That was funny.
He took a shot at everybody, which plants the seeds of potential opponents. He even called the Young Bucks out. He called Okada. He called Ospreay. Even Swerve.
Hey man, that's his hit list, is the way I seen it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Adam Cole stuff is squashed. The Adam Cole stuff is done because he's not cleared yet to do anything.
Oh yeah, I know, but they could build it. They could still have that on the back burner as he's going through all the people that are still active that were a part of that. And you can jump on that at any point. Like I said, personally, you could go, hey, I get my rematch. And like I was saying, man, I think this is a good way if they do it. And I'm agreeing with, like you said, Etep, it's got to be disqualification, double count out. You do it the old school way. Interference, disqualification, or got busted with the chair or brass nuts. I don't care, anything. Like, build this sucker up, because the two of them together, man, that can be really, really good for the fans. Two clashing styles of wrestling.
Yeah,
I would. For me, like the whole MJF situation, since they have the Young Bucks and their elite and their super group that they want. Well, personally, I think it's shit, but their super group. They should have MJF build his own like heel team, like they had the Pinnacle, but he should do the Dynasty like he did on the Indies. And which were sort of like the Four Horsemen, and he should do something like that, because like they're the best of the best, and kind of do something like that with him, and then he goes for the world title, and then his guys go for whatever other gold or whatever. So
yeah, but you can't exactly put him in a stable right now after that promo last week with him saying, no more friends.
Yeah, with the lone wolf thing and all that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really put him in a stable.
Mm-mm.
So you keep him. He's gonna be a tweener. You know, he's never gonna be a heel again.
Because I was gonna suggest him and Roosh fighting, and since Roosh is complaining about, you know, him coming back and just getting his spot back, that when MJF beats him, he just kind of like, you know, he becomes kind of the muscle or some of the muscle in the group.
Yeah,
and it helps, and it would help build a Roosh as well if they did that. But I know the whole lone wolf thing, and he's like, "Don't trust anybody," kind of the Steve Austin kind of motto at this point. So it's, you know.
Well, we were waiting on that though. We called that when him and Cole were together, that at some point one of them was going to stab the other one in the back because it just sense. I mean, we called that shit 2 years ago or however long it's been. But yeah, it's nice to see him kind of play it out. But yeah, exactly. Do the Austin DTA. You know, I'm not a heel. I'm not a baby face. I'm just me.
Yeah, therein lies the issue, because he was the most over heel they had. The guy he's in gimmick 24/7 in public, and the crowd kind of willed him into. And then they just turned him face, fucked up his title run. You know, he goes out, and now he comes back, and it's like I can just feel it setting in again that they're going to bungle this. It will get mishandled. And they'll book something poorly, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, Max! Like, why are you still here?" Like, the thing is, though, he goes to WWE. He's a small fish in a huge pond. He's a pebble. He's a pebble in the ocean. There, the only thing that
he would prosper there very well.
Well,
as long as the creative is there.
Their main event scene in WWE, and I'm not laying all the kudos on them, because I don't agree with a lot of their main eventers, but their main event scene is fucking jammed right now. Like, there is a log jam at the top, and that is the fucking issue with the way WWE books. You've got you're very top heavy, and then everything else, like the mid card is decent, the lower card there's some good shit, but they just don't utilize it properly. Davey, Oh no, go. I was just gonna say, WWE. I don't know what they're doing with everything on Peacock. Is all that going over to Netflix now?
I think it all goes over to Netflix at the end of the year. I could be wrong. Okay. I don't know what the deal is with Peacock. Like, I don't know when that runs out. I know the TV deal itself runs out next year when that goes over to
January. It's in January. Yeah, the TV thing. They haven't really said what happens with Peacock. So what? And I'm with Draven on that. What I'm assuming is Peacock will still be there, but WWE won't, because back in the day they had their own network, and then now when, as we called it back in the cable days, it's going to be a network thing. And well, here you go. Now now that Netflix is doing this, well, are they going to be still tagged with Peacock? I think it'll just end, because then I can just drop Peacock, because I don't watch that.
And I know overseas or whatever, they still have the network now still. So when this goes through, that goes away. So then overseas will just be using Netflix.
Yeah, I was still a member of the network up until like 2 or 3 months ago. I was getting it through my VPN. But here's a good point, and I want to talk about this too. Just Joe 47 channel member. What's up, brother? He says, I could see Statlander smack the crap out of Pockets about 1 million times.
Yeah.
I would pay Chris Statlander to smack the shit out of me like that. No, that was, but I would. That was
hell,
nice,
I'd throw in on that.
I loved seeing her bitch slap. It's funny too, because I think her arms are bigger than his. It's fucking hilarious. Like, she's legitimately bigger than him. So we had the MJF. We have the 4-way match. We have Ray Fenix versus Jay Lethal versus Pockets versus O'Reilly Auto Parts, and Fenix won that, and I got some. That match was just blah.
Yeah, and it's for number one contendership for the, which when I was watching it before we went backstage and started watching it from the top again, I was like, why is this a thing? And then
why are these guys in on for the?
Yeah, I missed the commentator guys or whatever saying that it was for the #1 contendership. So I'm like, why the fuck is there just a random 4-way? And then when we watched it like from the start again and got to that point, I heard him say it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. But it's like, if you're not paying attention, you're like, why the fuck is this happening? Like,
yeah. And that's the big overarching theme with AEW is they are totally antithetical to developing casual wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not going to grow your business. That's not going to endear you. And their ratings are reflective of that. Their buy rates on pay-per-view are reflective of that. Now, granted, their pay-per-views, they do put on a decent pay-per-view, but again, they're so ungodly long. Like their pay-per-views are a fucking indie show.
Yeah, they're 5 hours long.
There's 12 fucking matches, 5 hours. It's like, oh my God, not every fucking pay-per-view has to be WrestleMania.
Which I'm like, if I'm paying $50, I want to get my money's worth. So like, I understand the mentality
that's the balance.
I understand the mentality of why there's so many matches on it. But if you're going to do that, at least make them quality matches and not just throwaway shit that could be on TV.
Shit that used to be on YouTube, you know?
That's the caveat right there, Draven. That's exactly my point. You're going to put on 12 matches and go 5 hours. You want your money's worth. You're paying $50.
Yeah.
Give me 4 fucking great matches, 1 subpar and 1 that's the drizzling shits for $50. And I'm still ahead of the game. I mean, really, like if you get a card, 6 matches, 4 bangers, 1 subpar, and 1's the shits. That's basically the way every 6-match card goes. You know, it's somewhere in that semblance. I mean, unless you're, AEW, never mind. It just depends on who's booking. You know, I mean, there's so much potential there for that. But yeah, I don't like the pay-per-views to run that long. I don't, especially on a Sunday night. Like, dude, come on.
That shit on a Saturday.
Yeah.
They do them on Saturdays sometimes, but
yeah, I know.
The last couple have been on Sunday.
For the future, like, come on, if you're gonna do it for 5 hours, I'm with Etep on this. Like, at least do it on like a Saturday or a Friday, Saturday. If you're gonna do a 2-nighter, there you go. But if you're sticking with the one night, it would be a Saturday event, so you've got Sunday to recover.
Let me stop right there before we move ahead to Brian Cage and Mark Briscoe, which I had written down as Jay Briscoe. He's dead, but the 2-night pay-per-views. I understand they're doing that for SummerSlam for Minneapolis as a receipt because they wanted WrestleMania, and they're like, nobody wants to go to Minneapolis in the beginning of April, you fucking dolts. Like, get the fuck out of here. I live in Michigan, right? Their weather is a little bit worse than ours is. But we get just incredibly shitty winters. I don't want to be here. Like when they had WrestleMania in Detroit, it was like 50 degrees. And and that was in 2007. That's when I was 23 there. It wasn't that bad. But you get a early April in Michigan where you've got a foot of snow still and it's 10 degrees. It can happen. And Minnesota, that's no different. Nobody wants to go there for 2 nights and sit outside in sub-zero. I would refuse to work that. I don't give a fuck how much you're paying me. I'm not going out there in my dun-dun-duns and play fighting in sub-zero temperatures. Suck my fucking dick.
I don't even want to see football. Like, I wouldn't want free tickets for us to sit wherever, but you got to be outside and watch football in that kind of weather. There's no way.
That's why they play in a dome, out there. And I'm sure they were going to have the fucking the event in a dome, which they could still sell a fuck ton of tickets because it's a football stadium. But still, I mean, you're talking Minneapolis now is like little Somalia. That place is fucking Mogadishu ground zero. You don't want to fucking put an event on there. Like, get the fuck out of here. Plus, it's fucking Minnesota.
Well,
Like,
WrestleCon had announced, because they were in PA, and then they were there the same time as WrestleMania, and they announced the next one was going to be in Minnesota. So when we were all talking and guessing, you know,
well, I just assumed because they travel with, that's where it was going to be.
Right. You know,
and
that was
had the next one is in Cleveland, which I think they have it more. It's not always at during a WrestleMania, but they do them at WrestleMania as well. But they do them throughout the year too, I think.
Yeah, I just that whole 2-night thing. It's like you can do it there because you're giving them kind of a receipt for not getting Mania, but let's not do that with every fucking PLE. Please do not do that.
No, that's what I told you. I was so worried about because I'm dropping pay-per-views and going to the PLEs and then saying, okay, from whenever WrestleMania was, the next one isn't back in the States until SummerSlam. That's fine because they're doing the other tours. But if it's going to be that way, you could see where the switch would be flipped and they go, well, why don't we just do it on a 2-dayer to make even more money since we're only doing it 4 times a year in the States? And that's what I'm worried about, you know, because then you're going to lose. I think it loses more being 2 nights than more. You know, I understand why they did it. We're past that. Can we just go back to the 1-night event, please?
Yeah, but the marks love it, and that's who's spending money. That's who loves it, and that's who's spending money is all the marks. They're the ones dropping all the money for it. And it's like, dude, I don't want to shame anybody out of being a fan. No. I don't. If you want to fucking go for 2 nights and spend your money at WrestleMania, go ahead. You fucking do
you, boo.
I am not, especially with the price of tickets now, dude. Fuck that. Like, I'm gonna go. I might Saturday night go to a Shogun show over here. It depends on what the weather's like and what we're doing Saturday. But there's a show. I might take Trey to go watch it because he's been dying to go watch one, and Jared's want me to bring him out for a show. So we might go watch that. I'll spend, you know, what my ticket will be $20. His will probably be like $5, if that, if he even charges them. I'll go spend, you know, money on that and buy T-shirts from the boys, from the indie guys, my boys out there, rather than go spend fucking $8,000 to try to go to fucking WrestleMania for 2 nights. I'll watch that shit.
Nosebleeds.
I'll watch that shit right here on my monitors in the comfort of my own home and not have to deal with 80,000 other motherfuckers, you know, all assholes and elbows. I love wrestling, but I have no desire to be in a crowd that size. Like, I was talking about taking Trey to go see a Fed show, you know, and I'm like, I'll take him to go see Raw or SmackDown or a house show, you know.
Even Raw and SmackDown, their tickets aren't that badly priced.
No,
they come around here to Hershey or whatever for house shows and the Raws and stuff, and the prices are pretty reasonable. It's always like the last minute that I find out that, like, I have some friends or whatever in the area. They go to them, and I see that they're at it. And I'm like, wait a second, I didn't know this shit was coming. Like,
Yeah, it's like Jared and my old tag partner James. They go to AEW whenever they're in Michigan. They go, you know, and they're always, oh, you want to go? I'm like, I don't, you know.
I'll let you know because I'm going to Collision in June or the 20th. I'll let you know how it is live, at least for an AEW show. I seen the ROH one. That was pretty good live.
I'm gonna, you know, shoot some video if you can. I'm interested to see how it looks live. We love empty arena shots,
right?
I'll do my best.
If it is just before the show.
Yeah. You don't have to fuck with it during the show. You know, just as soon as everybody's in there getting ready to start, if you can snag some shots. Mark Briscoe versus Brian Cage. Mark Briscoe, which I forgot was the current ROH champ. He's had that belt for a minute because he had it when we were still
the beginning of April.
I was gonna say, he's had it for a minute. This match, and I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail because I've got a new segment I'm working on called "That's Not Gonna Work for Me, Brother," and we got about five moments from this show, and this entire match is "That's Not Gonna Work for Me, Brother." But I understand. Mark Briscoe is he was an indie darling. He's an ROH darling. He's the ROH champion.
Finally.
With that being said,
should have lost.
You have to be fucking kidding me if you think I can look at that skinny, fat, toothless fucking hillbilly and
That
think
personal
that
attack?
there's one fucking iota of him standing there and go to toe with Brian Cage. And I mean, if you want him to win, that match
Hardcore.
needs, and I don't give a fuck if that entire match is Brian Cage mopping the fucking floor with him, even if he's the ROH champion. He's outmatched, he's outgunned.
Yep.
Yeah, you might be able to out wrestle him, but dude, this guy's a fucking thoroughbred. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not buying it. This is, I would have put Briscoe over quick. I think, didn't he hit his fucking finisher? He hit the stupid fucking froggy bow or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's how he won.
That was the finish. He fucking went over clean.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here. Put him over with a roll up, some shit like that. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was just sitting there watching this last night going, this is part of the reason why we quit watching this.
I do commend them. They didn't have him kick out of his finisher. I will commend them on that aspect at least.
Cage hit him with 2 finishers, and that's scrawny
Yeah, that's
pieces.
true.
So you're telling me,
That's true.
Fucking telling me that this skinny fat fuck can kick out of 2 finishers from that fucking beast, and then he hits a fucking elbow, and now it's over. It's over. It's a get.
Yep.
Get
And again,
The
I'm a
spirit of
Briscoe
his
fan.
dead brother is pushing.
Well, never mind. I'm
Yeah, as
just,
a fan of Briscoe, he should not have won. And if he did, it should have been dirty.
put him
Like
over.
dirty
It doesn't.
fuck, like with a
It
chair.
doesn't. But he's a face. It doesn't have to be dirty, but he does work hardcore, so it could have been incorporated to where he got so frustrated because he can't. But this is the thing, like you're just burying. And I know Brian Cage agreed to do the job because he's that kind of guy.
Yep.
Because he put over a fucking woman.
He's a yes man.
He is.
Even though he makes comments, or his wife had made comments in the past that he wasn't happy with how things were being booked in other places, or I think it would have been in AEW at one point.
It's
like he's a yes man, but we know deep down that he's like wants more.
There's nobody that has put in the time and effort to look like he has that is willing to do, like, basically he was wrestling me. I guarantee you, if you stood Mark Briscoe and I next to each other, there's a I don't know. What did they say he weighs? Is he 230?
Let me look.
He might be a little bit heavier than me. I'm about 224 right now, as of this morning. I got up at 224.
He's 39. He's 6 foot, and he's 229.
I'm 3 inches taller than him, and like 6 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds lighter, 5 pounds lighter than him. I guarantee you, I have just as much muscle as him. There's no fucking. Aesthetically, I'm probably in better shape.
And Brian, 6 foot and 268 pounds.
He's every bit of that. I'll guarantee you. If not a little bit heavier, because at 6 foot and as wide as he is, he looks 275. I mean, that dude, he's a big boy. But it pisses me off to see that get. And it's like, what are you going to do with Mark Briscoe? What does he gain from going over on Cage? It's that kind of booking.
He's going to lose in the ladder match. That's the given.
Who the fuck is he? Who's he working in that? Who was it?
We don't know yet. There's still qualifier matches, but he qualified to be in the ladder match.
See, I haven't watched Ring of Honor and fuck.
It's not for Ring of Honor. It's for Forbidden Door for the TNT title. That's what that match was for.
Oh,
so
that was
qualify to be in the match, because if they didn't have the qualifying match thing, the Elite would have just given Jack Perry the TNT title, like just given it to him.
And
it's all about Edge getting hurt and having to give up the title.
Speaking
they stripped it from him.
Of Jungle Boy, his fucking promo was right after this match, and what I said. That's another that ain't gonna work for me, brother moment, because his fucking promo was I'm not gonna give the joke away right now, but it was dog shit. Like there's no suspension of disbelief. There's no ability to. He does not command that amount of respect or anything when he speaks. You put Jack Perry in a lightweight division. Yeah, dude. Okay. But is anything more than that? And That's no, it's not going to work for me, brother. It ain't going to work.
Because like you look at the elite stable, like who's their heavy?
They don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. And I know they're like sort of like doing a thing with them and Christian, like having a working relationship.
Yep.
So I guess you could use Kill Switch or Luchasaurus or whatever as your heavy for the elite, but it's like they're two stables that are just kind of like the enemy of my enemy is kind of my friend type deal.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Like nothing about that stable works. Like they're a mid-card fucking stable with no muscle at all. None.
Because Okada looks like MJF said, Okada's like fucking like he's not fat, but he's like doesn't have any tone or anything to him.
He's skinny fat.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, and I say that about him and Briscoe, and the guys have worked circles around me in the ring, but I haven't been in a ring in fucking 7 years either. You know, it's just it for two guys who've been in the business that long to look that subpar it's mind-boggling to me that you can't, like, I'm not saying you have to go out and get a tan. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't, the tanning bed thing is fucked up. Like, I did that for a little while, then I quit. But just fucking work out and look at least like you belong in the ring. Like you could fight somebody your own size. You don't have to, and I'll get to Hook in a minute because that little
like Christian Cage, like look at Christian. He's what, fucking 50 something.
Yeah, he's 51.
He wears a turtleneck and shit. But if he took that turtleneck shit off, dude, he put everybody in that locker room to shame.
Oh yeah,
he's cut. He's cut to fuck, dude. He's not huge, but he's cut up. You know, and he's 50. So it's like these. What's
the excuse for everybody else?
That's it. What is your excuse? What the fuck is your excuse not to look like that? And it's not like he's on. I don't think he's on any gear.
I don't think so either.
He's not big. He's just cut.
He does a lot of planking. Because they have that pure plank thing, which I'm thinking about getting, and at least to do something other than just fucking sitting on my ass all the time. And with my back, it would help build my core for my back.
Yep.
Like, so my back isn't always fucked up.
That's what I worked. I did back. Me and the boy worked back today.
But so that's why his fucking six pack is like fucking. He's got a huge six pack.
Yeah, dude looks great. Like he looks
Surfer
great.
Body, man.
Yeah.
It throws me off that these younger guys don't take that. And number we had the other one here. We have Hook and Samoa Joe with their promo, and Hook is eating and he's wearing a hoodie and a beanie and he looks like a fucking retarded skateboarder. And who the fuck came in and smacked the Funyuns out of his hand? Who was that? I didn't write it down. Who interrupted their promo, but they wanted to fight right there, and he wanted to go at it with them. And Samoa Joe, cooler heads prevailed, and Joe says, "No,
I forget who that was."
Yeah, I can't.
Was it the Kingdom and them after their? Because Roddy, did you miss? Or Roddy was gonna have his match or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been the Kingdom. I can't remember. It was just I anytime Hook is on screen, I'm automatically just fucking.
And they have Samoa Joe straddled with him, and he's kind of like trying to teach him how Samoa Joe would act basically around other people, and like try to act like a killer instead of fucking going off the handle every time somebody slates you. Kind of deal with the promo. Which Samoa Joe's part of it was fine. I was all right with that. But Hook is just, it's Hook.
From heavy to babysitter.
Yeah, he's just like, it's because they're building to, so I'm going to assume something with Samoa Joe, Hook versus the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, which throughout the entire show, Chris Jericho is running around being the Learning Tree and telling people, well, this is how you do it. Like, he even teaches a guy how to scoop fucking
serve food
shit.
Better.
Yeah, serve food better in a fucking in catering and shit.
I love Jericho.
Like I was like, get this fucker off my TV like the last like year, because it was just like, you're not building anybody really. You're
he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, you're just kind of there, and it's just like, what is this?
Fart in the wind there.
Yeah, basically. But now he's like leaning into all the criticism that everybody had last year and just fucking making it a gimmick and running with it. And I love it.
It reminds me of The List, brother.
Oh yeah, a little bit. I just hope
I mean, not the same, but again, it's a reinvention, and it's something new we haven't seen, and he always does such a good thing when he reinvents himself. I'm fucking excited.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't want it to run its course like the Jericho Appreciation Society was, because I really liked that at the beginning, because it was kind of a slight on WWE and shit, and then because they say that they're pro wrestling and WWE is sports entertainment, but then it just fell flat, because it ran its course and lasted longer than it needs to, but yeah, and then his learning tree is pretty good. I liked how he was going around, but they're basically building for Joe and him, those two, to tussle at some point. I think is the overarching theme with all that.
Oh yeah,
the learning tree segments are funny, but yeah, Draven, they're gonna make that, as you said. I have a feeling Tony Khan will let that overstay its welcome because it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
and Tony Khan,
and that's my fear about that, because I like to get what he's doing right now, but if it overstays its welcome, it's what's the point?
Yeah, it was funny. I heard you mention the craft services thing, and
even the camera guy, when he first got out of the car, he's like,
the camera guy.
I've been in the business for whatever, and I even know how to do some backstage stuff. So,
thanks, guys.
Let me show you how it's done. Thanks, guys. Hey, waving.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for. Okay, I don't. And I said this before. Me personally, I don't like doing comedy spots. I don't like doing comedy. Unfortunately, we were good at them. So we did them, much to my chagrin. We did them and they got over. This is, to me, you're going to build him and Joe. All right. This is an angle. Yeah. Brian Keith. Yeah. This angle here, you don't want this to go on for more than a couple months, maybe. And then it's got to go away, because you've already done so much damage to Big Bill. This guy is a fucking star. He is a star. This guy has he's like Kevin Nash, but dare I say better? Now hear me out, because I love Kevin Nash in the ring. I do. If Big Bill was given the chance to have a run like Nash, okay? I don't know that his promos would be as good, but I definitely think his in-ring work would be better. I think he has way more athletic ability, and I'm not taking anything away from Nash, because like I said, I was a huge mark for the fucking Outsiders, because I love Scott Hall and I love Kevin Nash, and the Outsiders is a tag team. Like I said, me and my partner James, that was my tag team partner James. It's Pride Month. I got to be careful. We're very much the Outsiders. We did that entire fucking shtick. And yeah, I love, but I think Big Bill has that potential, and they're going to squander it again. Hook putting him through that table and almost murdering him at Double or Nothing. I saw that shit. Yeah. I was angry. I was angry that he even agreed to do that. Like I said, I know Bill was probably like, all right, yeah, okay, let's, and then you almost die. The Young Bucks, the Acclaim comes out. The best thing the Young Bucks have ever done, the only time I've ever cheered for the Young Bucks was right here, because they cut the Acclaim segment and told them to get off TV. We're cutting the segment, which during Pride Month, nothing could be better than seeing the Acclaim lose their spot.
It was so fucking great.
It was perfect.
Because they sided with Team A. The reason for it was they sided with Team AEW before the pay-per-view. So they came out to help everybody. So they're like, yep, fuck you. We're getting you off get the fuck off TV, get backstage.
So yeah, it was perfect. But that's the only time I'll ever give the Young Bucks any fucking props at all. Was that spot. Swerve's promo was really good. That's why I said his promo was good. Called out MJF. Swerve, man, another one of the only reasons I'm willing, and I wanted to watch Dynamite last night was because of Swerve. I'm like, all right, Swerve and Roddy could have a good match. Like Roddy, for all his shortcomings when it comes to wrestling, he's like a less talented Dean Malenko. That makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
He reminds me of Malenko with a little more personality, obviously. Ring work's not as good as Malenko, but he's very serviceable and technically sound, but just not a Dean Malenko. But I mean, it was from a match standpoint. I mean, it was their match. Well, we'll get to that. But the promo was good because we have the Blackpool Combat Club with the returning Wheeler Yuta versus a bunch of fucking CML guys, and the Blackpool Combat Club went over
for a while, and it was those matches have just been fucking throwaway, and pointless. So it's like whatever. Like it's cool that Yuta came back and kind of finally got a win for the group because he's always been kind of like the underdog for their group, and I always consider him the weak link. Out of them, and it's like, when are they gonna kick him out? but yeah,
dude, that's fucking sweet. Gap sent me some fucking action figure accessory, a link to him for a horror figure.
Nice.
This is pretty sweet. Big Bad Toy Store's got a chainsaw, an Ash chainsaw you can wear. Oh my god.
Oh nice.
I should buy that. The wife
would kill me to know about that.
I know she'll have one. She needs to have that for her camera reveal on our when Trina comes on the wrestling show and finally goes on camera.
Yep.
But no, Swerve is he's fucking great, but they're booking him bad. Yeah, Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah, Wheeler Yuta is the weak link. They gave him, coming back from injury, gave him the pinfall last night. And my next thing was, I said one of the Young Bucks was wearing a pearl necklace. Happy Pride Month.
Yeah. Because the Acclaim went backstage and like complained. They're like, and then they complained to them, and then they're like, yeah, thanks, boss, or whatever. Fucking like, we're happy to work here, but fuck you. It's like, what? Yeah. Like if you're in a feud with him and you're pissed off at him, like be pissed and then just storm off. Yeah. Don't fucking say something like it just undermines the entire thing. Then,
yeah, it was a bunch of skibbity shit.
Yeah,
it was fucking, that was terrible. And like I said, the pearl necklace for the Young Bucks that works. That's completely. It should have been
like, why is he wearing a pearl necklace? And I'm like, oh, you know why?
Yeah, yeah. Have a good night, Davian. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Good to see you as always, sir. Have a great evening. Yeah, it was like I said, he was wearing that pearl necklace because it was Pride Month, and the Young Bucks definitely want to get on pace with the rest of the AEW locker room and their owner who celebrates Pride 365 days.
Fucking bullshit.
Oh, Jesus.
So speaking of that, Pride Month, we had Saraya versus Mariah May, and if you're wondering why, well, the end of the match, I mean, Saraya won. There was a lot of hetero cam during this. There was a lot of hetero cam, and this is a very aesthetically pleasing matchup. Mariah May has surprised me. I didn't realize she was that decent in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's amazing. Like I don't know if you were there when I showed the guys the Julia versus her in Stardom, their match together. It was basically just the highlights, but I showed them the match and they thought it was pretty good too. So
who, Julia Hart?
No, Julia that they're gonna sign on the WWE. She's from New Japan.
Julia Gulia? Yeah,
the one with the G, that's spelled with a G.
I was talking about the chick from The Wedding Singer that Drew Barrymore played. Julia.
Oh, it's Julia with a G, not a J.
Okay.
He's from New Japan, New
All
Japan and Stardom and all that shit. But her and Mariah May fought a lot in Stardom.
But okay, so they're gonna sign this chick from what? They have so many
AEW
women on
isn't
their
signing them. WWE is signing her.
Oh, okay.
WWE actually scooped her up before Tony could, I guess, get her.
I was gonna say because even WWE, they have so many women on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you but all right, we'll get to WWE.
She hasn't debuted or anything yet on WWE, but they did because she was at WrestleMania. They put the camera on her and shit at WrestleMania.
One thing I pointed out was Saraya dropped Mariah May on her fucking head during this match. Jesus fucking Christ, that was scary. You could tell she gave her a few moments to kind of collect herself before she went back into the heat on her. And the submission hold, I don't even know what that's called.
I like the submission. It's pretty
nice. Yeah. It is. Well, it's very nice to look at.
Yeah, aesthetically, it's nice to look at, but it looks pretty rough,
painful. Yeah. And Mariah May tapped out, and then Mina Shirakawa. Yeah, Mina Shiranakawa came out, and she saved Mariah, and then Mariah's head was in her bosom, and then
because Tony came in to like console her after losing, and then the Outcasts, Saraya and Harley Cameron started beating the shit out of him, and then Mina's music hits, and then she runs down and fucking they starts fighting them back, and then afterwards was a treat to the eyes.
That Mina she's a dime.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fucking dime. Holy shit, dude! Like I was like, God damn.
Yep.
But I've never seen her work. I'm kind of like anxious to see her work.
She's good.
So we had that. That was like leading into the Forbidden Door gimmick. Then we have
so you just glossed, but at the end, I thought you were going to go over the end.
Sorry.
Where basically Mariah May grabs Mina, and like because they had like a thing in Stardom, they were in a stable together. So she like pulls and puts her into her bosom, and then Tony Storm is there. They're like, what the fuck? And she grabs her too and puts them into her bosom. And then they're basically there, like kind of like Tony Storm and Mina, like looking at each other, like they're like fighting. Basically, they're fighting over Mariah May, basically. And then they have a match at Forbidden Door. So it's like let's fight for the custody of Mariah May match, basically, at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody was complaining about seeing that triad in the ring with their that was we were all basically
exactly.
Okay, I was fine with it. But that led us to our main event, which was for the AEW World Championship, correct? That was the belt was on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Roderick Strong with the Kingdom challenging Swerve Strickland, which nobody in their right mind thought Roderick Strong had a snowball's chance in hell.
It was stupid that he even like got to just jump the shit, like because they have a ranking system, as I do air quotes right now, and they're like it's supposed to matter, but then they don't fucking use it. Like they did it with Monet or whatever. They did it with her. She just jumps ships, gets a TBS title. I get there was like story elements that like led to that, but this whole thing, there isn't even like a story element that would lead Roderick to even like want like or even be allowed to get a fucking shot. He just jumps the ship, and I guess they kind of tried to fix it with Swerve doing his promo. I want to say it was at the end of Collision where he's like, "Oh, I see you think you can just jump ships and stuff." He's like, "Well, I'll let it happen this once, and I'll whoop your ass," basically, kind of deal. But it's like it should have never happened to begin with. And Roderick is the one that ran backstage and fucking asked Tony Khan while Christopher Daniels is right there, who was supposed to be an authority figure, and fucking circumvents him, which makes even having an authority figure pointless at that point. And asked Tony Khan, "Hey, I want to." It's like, first of all, Tony Khan, get the fuck off TV. Let your authority figure do what he's supposed to do and be the authority figure. You did it with the TNT thing. Do it across the board. So, and they did.
Yeah. No, not even close. Like the
and then he even had a contract that he signed or whatever, and he even said that, or Swerve said he's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight Ospreay at Forbidden Door before their match even happened. So it's like you already know the outcome, of this match. So it's kind of a disservice to Swerve because you already know the outcome of this shit. Like what's gonna happen.
Instead of Swerve and Roderick Strong, they should have just gave
the lesbian.
I'd have been all right if the show ended on that.
They could have just gave us more of that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a decent match, but you knew what the outcome was going to be. It's just like, how are we going to get there? How are we going to get there? And like I said, decent match. I feel bad for the way Swerve is booked. The just lack of respect that he's getting as champion is just unconscionable because he got himself over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they put him in the spot, but it could have failed, and the people love him,
especially after starting and stopping so many times with him.
Yep,
because of Keith Lee's shit. Because they were doing that segment, and that kind of fell through because of his health.
Yep,
and the fact that he was able to overcome all that shit and still get over is a testament to him.
And the thing that killed me about this match was the spot where Roderick ended up dropping Swerve on the back of his head on the apron.
Mm-hmm.
And that
spot
Oh my God. I'm like, why would you even call that fucking spot? Like, no.
Yeah, because it's all shock and awe,
Yep. That's what it is. It's all flash.
And we were watching that thing afterwards. Stevie was saying that they needed to have each brand just be like, you want that hardcore, like crazy fucking shock value.
Yep.
Do that on. I know what he meant like Rampage or whatever to do it because Rampage is on at 10 because it's after 10 o'clock. All the kiddies are in bed. You can do that kind of thing after hours. Kind of deal, and do all the hardcore shit. Then have your WWE style program on one of them, and then your New Japan on another.
That's what they should do with like Rampage because nobody's watching it anyway. Just make that your Japanese one because nobody's fucking watching it. So just put all that gobbledygook on there, and then do your actual wrestling on Wednesday night, Saturday night. Yeah, all your hardcore shit. It's on later. It's a different audience. Let that be the deal. But that Tony Khan doesn't have the fucking foresight to do that or the intellect. He doesn't.
Yeah, the pitch for that was for him for the TV deal. Be like, hey, give me a year. I'll segment it because then you're pitching 3 specific individual brands to the network.
You're giving them 3 different kinds of content. It's wrestling, but you're getting three distinct variations
flavors of it.
Yep. So all your bases are covered. There's something for all the wrestling fans. Under our banner on all 3 of our shows have different there would be crossover obviously, but there's going to be. And
then you might get people that like one, and then they start like getting into the story, and then they like mention shit from one of the other shows, and you're like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes, and then they tune in, and they either stay or they don't. It's whatever because they all have their own distinct viewership.
Yeah, and so that was basically Dynamite. I didn't get the. Let me see if I can pull the. Numbers for that last night. I don't know if it's on the website I check or not. I'll have to look because I want to see if they have it.
I know Dynamite's been consistently doing the 700,000 at least.
Yeah.
It was getting pretty rough though there for a while before this before Double or Nothing. It was getting pretty bad. It was down in like the 600s, I want to say. Maybe a little lower than that for Dynamites.
Yeah, I can't. I'm looking. I can't find it. Let's see. for, let's see, last night was the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right, let's see here. Okay, so it averaged 790,000 viewers. Last week was 787, and the prior week was 731.
They're up. And I think a lot of that's to do with MJF being back.
Oh, yeah.
Because MJF wasn't on the previous program, so people tuned in to just potentially maybe he would show up, and he didn't. They had like a little promo package or whatever of him, and that was it. And then you get the boost here. We'll see what next week.
And NXT's already using Ethan Page better than AEW did.
Oh, yeah. There was a few segments that they did all right with Ethan Page, like him and MJF when they fought.
Yeah,
that was a good segment with him.
Yeah.
The issue is like it was all stop and go. Like he was injured there for a while. After the whole thing with what was it, Top Team that he was doing?
Yep.
Paige Van Zandt. Like then it was like he just disappeared for a while, and then he came back, and then it was stop finish. Like since then.
All right, so I want to close on this because we're rounding in on an hour, and I don't want to go much over an hour. We talked about before we went on the air, we were talking about Meltzer's star ratings, right?
Yeah.
So his ratings for Double or Nothing go as follows, and we'll run through these real quick, and we'll compare it to King of the Ring.
Okay.
And we'll kind of look at some other ones here. But so Deonna Purrazzo defeating Thunder Rosa on the pre-show. 2 3/4 stars. Okay.
Right.
2 3/4 stars. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn defeating the Gates of Agony. 3 stars.
All right.
So we're on to the main card. Will's ass spray versus Roderick Strong. He beats Strong to become the new international champion. 4 3/4 stars.
Jesus.
No.
The match was good, but I wouldn't say it was that good.
It's not 4 3/4 fucking stars good.
No.
Like that's a fucking like a 3-star match. I mean, you're not. So the Bang Bang Gang defeats the Death Triangle to retain the Unified Trios Championships. 4 stars.
Jesus.
I
liked that match, but I wasn't blown away by it.
I was. Timeless Tony Storm defeating Serena Deeb to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. 3.5 stars.
Okay.
That might be the most accurate one we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy defeating Trent Beretta. 3 3/4 stars.
Jeez.
3 3/4. That match was dog shit.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It
I
was
liked the
dog
story
shit.
behind it. I just the match itself wasn't good.
Well, the story would be better if you had 2 people that anybody gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy ain't drawing money. That's
No, they're not. But I like Trent, and I like that he's doing his solo thing. Like because he's out of all of that group, he's probably the better of that group, in my opinion.
Yeah. He needs to put on some weight, though. He needs to get a little bit bigger, bro. Jericho defeated Hook and Katsuyori Shibata to retain the FTW Championship. 2 1/4 stars. I think Dave got that one.
Yeah.
He still shot a little high by about 1/4 star, but he got it close. John Moxley defeated Konosuke Takeshita in an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match. 4 1/4 stars. Of course, he gave the plumber 4 1/4.
Yep.
John Moxley could take a shit on Renee, and he would give that 4 1/4 stars.
Don't you mean the other way around?
Yeah. But David be like, Brian Alvarez be like, Dave, you gave John Moxley defecating on his wife, Renee Moxley Good, 4 1/4 stars. How can you even justify it? Dave be like, that's John Moxley. That's John Moxley. He's so good. He's so good. He's so good. He's IWGP champ. He's got so many 5-star matches, Brian. How could you even ask me that? Dave, is your mic breaking up? No, I'm just stuttering. Adam Copeland defeated Malachi Black in it. We know the 4 1/4. 4 1/4 stars.
He even broke a leg for him, and he only gets 4 1/4.
That was my highlight of the night, honestly. That match. I know the injury sucks, and then like afterwards sucks, but that's just mainly because of Gangrel, because I was fucking marking out.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah,
what we wanted though, Draven.
Yeah, it is. But I called that shit a mile away before it even fucking happened.
And even Vinnie Rue pointed this out. He's like, Tony Khan owes me royalties, bro. He took what I was doing 25 years ago, bro, and he's doing it now. I want royalties, Tony Khan. But no, that was like seeing Gangrel. Yeah, from a fan standpoint, it was cool. Mm-hmm. From a story standpoint, it's like, so you're gonna bury the House of Black with 2 50-year-olds. Great.
Yep.
Great. Just finish it off. You know.
My thing is, if he didn't get injured, what was the next?
Well, it was him taking over the House of Black, supposedly. Remember, and that would have been kind of cool for
that. Didn't even make sense. That didn't with them.
I know it did, but it was something for them to build on.
But they walk over to Edge, and then Malachi's like, and then they walk back, and it's just like, oh my god.
The House of Black haven't been on TV since then, anyway. So it's like, what are they doing with them now?
Yep.
Mercedes Moné defeats Willow Nightingale to become TBS champion. 4.5 fucking stars.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Jesus. That match was like a 3, if that.
It's Mercedes Moné.
Actually, I would switch the rating for the Peraza Rosa match for the rating that
2 3/4 for 4.5.
Yeah, I would switch that because fucking at least those guys put on a decent match, in my opinion.
Yeah. Swerve defeated Christian Cage to retain the AEW World Title. 4.25 stars.
Yeah.
3 3/4.
Yeah.
3 3/4. And I like, how much I like Swerve.
I know you do.
Same. I mean, I'm thinking 3 max, but yeah, still, that's 3, too high.
I'd go 3 3/4 on it because Swerve pretty much carried the match.
Well, are we basing this on a 1 to 5? Because we know Meltzer doesn't base it on a 1 to 5.
Well,
it's basically 1 to whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it used to be 5. I don't know. The Elite defeated Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, and Okada's Grundle and Shooter McGavin in Anarchy.
Yeah,
he gave that 4.5 stars.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
I give that a 2 at best.
Yeah, those matches are like, I get it's basically a cinematic match, story match, basically, but it's just fucking, it's just a clusterfuck. Like, it doesn't matter what the story is; it's always going to be a shit show, and it's like you can't even follow it right. None of the stars really get any highlights of what they can do in the ring or anything, so it's just pointless.
Well, the good news is they all walked away; nobody died.
That's true.
That's a fucking win in an AEW match like this. That is an absolute fucking win.
It did look like Jungle Boy did get legit burnt though.
Good
during that, because he had he was in the shower, like obviously he had clothes on and shit, but did a promo and you could see like on his arm, like it looked like how when it burns it leaves that marks or whatever.
I think he did get burned a little bit in that, but I mean that's just when you light yourself on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, when you do something that stupid, what do you think was going to happen, dumbass?
The Russo and them are saying they're doing everything right now they can to try to boost ratings.
Yeah,
because of the TV deal, and that's why they did all that shit.
I mean, I get some of that, but my only problem with it is when you overprice your tickets for normal folks, and especially for AEW, that's where you lose. Like your Ring of Honor tickets weren't bad, Draven. The price and stuff when you were looking at. But when we were looking at, all of us were talking about getting all the front row. All of us, like, Fisk and me and you and. Whoever else, and it's like, man, we can't even afford that. It's like that's a little lot.
The collision that I'm going to was like $200-300 for a third seat back from the front. So
and collision was the best part of fucking AEW for the longest time.
Yep.
Now it's all just kind of interwoven, you know.
I'm just hoping MJF is at that show. That's all. I want to see him live.
So, real quick here, for King of the Ring, Bianca Belair and Jade defeating Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, 1 3/4 stars.
Okay.
That's.
I can't make any comment because I didn't watch it. So
I just saw the finish. The finish was good.
After they botched it.
Well, they didn't botch the finish in the pre-show match.
Okay, no, they didn't. Never mind. Wrong one.
No, that was the other one.
That was the other one. My bad.
Liv Morgan defeating Becky Lynch to become the new Women's World Champion. 2 3/4 stars.
Okay.
2 3/4. Sami Zayn defeating Bronson Reed and Chad Gable to retain the IC Championship. 3 3/4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Nia Jax defeating Lyra Valkyria with the bonsai drop, cracking her ribs. 1.5 stars. Did
she legit injure her?
I don't know if she did or not. I didn't see Raw this week to see if she was on it. What up, world class bullshitters? Hail. What's going on?
Hey.
What's going on? Welcome.
Well.
Gunther defeated Randy Orton to win King of the Ring. 4 1/4 stars. That's
shoulder pop. I love it.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the fucking shoulder not being down at the end of the match. They should have just restarted the match and just did the finish. Yeah. But no, we couldn't do that.
They did though. Like,
they acknowledged it.
So I think it's going to be a story element.
Yep, and that's okay if you rectify it that way and you write it in.
You're muted.
But Cody Rhodes defeated Logan Paul to retain the WWE Undisputed Championship. 4 1/4 stars for that.
So you can see the bias already.
Oh yeah.
Cody sell out Rhodes. He bought his way in.
Benedict Rhodes. But so let me go back over here. So Ospreay and Roderick Strong got 4 3/4 in the opener. The Trios Championships was 4 stars. Moxley and Takeshita was 4 1/4. Copeland and the Malachi Black 4 1/4. Mercedes Moné 4.5. So you're telling me I don't even fucking like Cody Rhodes, and you're telling me that Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale was a better match than Gunther and Randy Orton by 1/2 star, and better than Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul by 1/2 star. That's the line of shit that Uncle Dave is going to try to fucking shovel down my fucking pie hole.
Well, he's on crack.
Well, I mean, but there's people that eat that shit up, though.
Yeah, there is.
And
that's the reason the wrestling business is the way it is right now.
I laugh because I don't pay attention to any of that shit. Like, I just tell you what I think based off what I think from what I see. It's that simple.
I can't help but fucking be like taken aback by the disparity in fucking ratings. I mean, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch 2 3/4, and then you go over to Mercedes and Willow at 4.5, and Deonna Purrazzo. They gave Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa 2 3/4, and Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch 2 3/4. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
I mean, dude. All right. Hold the ship. I got to run upstairs for a minute.
Yeah. So the girls' matches that were actually good matches got the lower score than got the higher. That is just.
And then you look at the AEW card as a whole, and they're getting higher ratings. And then if you go back through and look at all his ratings together, his New Japan, all the New Japan matches that he rated have higher ratings and have more 5-star matches than any other of the companies. And then AEW is right after that, and then WWE is at the end of it. So you can see the clear bias of what style he likes over the other.
Yeah,
he likes the New Japan shit, and it's like, but people are taking him as like the end all be all. It's like, no, you're not even like, if it was an unbiased rating and you were taking it based on, specific metrics or whatever, I'll be all right. I'd be like, all right, that's fine. I get it. But he's not.
Well, that's like I'm not a fan of the New Japan style. I mean, you know, that was my problem with Kingston, and I mean, like we make fun of the wrestlers and shit. That's what we do. We break balls, but I mean, at the end of the day, I am not a fan of the Japanese slap bitch fest bullshit. You know, or forks, or goddamn, you know, like like Mox was like that shit to me was just like, no, I don't need that. You know, I had the original ECW. I'm good. I remember when it was on VHS, and that's how you could get it. A buddy of a buddy that had motherfucking satellite, you know, that's how you saw that stuff. So, I mean, you know, but you have to, even when I don't like it or I'm not, I don't prefer that style. When good stuff happens, I will admit what was good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I hate it because it's Japanese style. I prefer more other WCW, NWA day style of wrestling, you know?
Yeah,
and
you
again,
don't like
with
the slap
with
fest
Edge,
and
that
then
was
them not selling any of the moves and basically using their finishers to, like, you know, as their big, like, go home, and everything else is literally pointless in the match.
Well, when we were watching, wasn't it Jungle Boy that jumped off the cage and caught the corner of the table too, like a while back?
I don't remember.
When he was fighting Luchasaurus, didn't he fuck up a spot like that?
Maybe.
And it just seems to be the curse of motherfuckers jumping off the shit in AEW. I'm just saying. Like the Edge thing, it was weird though, because he's done it like a million times. You know, he's done all kinds of stuff like that.
Why?
He mentioned that his brain was like, he basically, like his heart or his whatever, his brain didn't match his age or whatever. And when he jumped off, he like second guessed himself, and it was like, shit.
Oh, you could
realize,
but you could tell, like you didn't have to hear what he said. You could just tell.
Like, you could tell.
It was like when you were a child thinking you were Superman jumping off the couch and gonna fly because you had a cape on.
And mid-flight, you're like, fuck.
And then when you didn't fly, you're like, oh shit. And that's you know, I'm glad he didn't get massively hurt. But now all that payoff. Now he's out till next year.
Yeah.
Godzillionaire's right. He's got 4.25 stars because he's got melanin in his soul. He's Negro icon Cody Rhodes.
Negro icon Cody.
Do I have the song over here? I don't. Hang on. I think it's over on Nitro. Hang on a second. Is it over here?
We've got to do something silly where we all.
Wrestling has more than one black champion. When blacks are down, Cody's there, and he knows how to bring hair. The thing he puts his kid in regularly is cornrows! His father's sound, blacker the berry, the sweeter is the juice. When the took a piece of championship away, I felt defeated, but then when Cody won, those feelings went away. Those thoughts were heated. Cody, my heroes, one of my favorite heroes. Where Cody starts racing the man, what kind of leader?
That's fucking great.
That will never get.
The guy who made that is a legend.
That's king energy right there.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the 5-star ratings by promotion. So New Japan has Jesus Christ. Hang on a second.
It said 30, I think.
35 5-star matches. 35. AEW has 10. Okay. WWEF has 4. All Japan Pro 3. TNA 3. Revolution, WCW, Stardom, Ring of Honor, and Noah all have 1. New Japan's highest rating is a 7. AEW's is a 6.5. WWF 5.5. All Japan 5.25. TNA 5.5. Rev Pro 6, WCW Stardom, ROH 5.5, and Noah 5.25. So yeah,
you can see the clear bias of like what he prefers over the other.
I want to look
if
at
you're given a rating, you should be unbiased in your rating and just give it what it is. Like,
Will's ass spray has 19 5-star matches. 19. I think Uncle he's good. He's good, Brian. He's good. Jesus.
He is a good wrestler. I'm not going to deny that.
He is, but he has no personality.
Right, Mr. Plain Vanilla.
I'd rather hear
yeet, no yeet, yeet, no yeet.
I think Denise is fucking touched in the head. But he's got 19. Okada's got 13. Omega's got 12. And then there's there's two guys, Shingo Takagi with 8.
Bless you.
Kota Ibushi with 6. And then Daniel Bryanson has 5. That one's for you, Draven. And then Maddie and Nikki have 4. And then Tetsuya Naito, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Jay White, Cash Wheeler, Dax, Zack Sabre, and Katsuhiko Nakajima all have 3.
Wow, that sounded like a lot of food order.
Where's look at dude? He gave Hangman Adam Page and John Moxley on March 5th of last year at Revolution 5 stars.
Wow.
Is that where Mox won the belt?
I think so. That's a 5-star match. Let me go. Let me find some Kurt Angle. Hang on a second. I want to look up Kurt Angle here. It was 96 he came in. Let's see. Oh, there's no Kurt Angle 5-star matches, is there? Bret Hart and Stone Cold got 5 stars. Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Bad Blood, In Your House 18, 5 stars. I don't know. This guy.
Yeah, how do you not give Kurt Angle a 5-star match?
Like, I don't know. That just.
How many matches him and Guerrero had? And people like Guerrero. I'm sorry, it came out wrong.
Dude,
not Kurt versus Guerrero. I mean, but even like Eddie Guerrero and people like Kurt Angle, the matches that they had that were just classics.
Ric Flair and Butch Reed in CWF, the Miami Beach show, April 7th, 1982. He gave that one 5 stars. Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen versus Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk. That's a 5-star match in 1984. But I mean, this guy is just all over fucking the Japanese stuff. I don't. Oh God.
And
if that's your thing, that's fine. I just don't prefer.
Well, I don't like the Japanese style either. I'm not a fan of the no selling, and I don't like that. It's so antithetical to the way I was trained and the way that I understand the business works in aiding the audience in the suspension of disbelief, which, I mean, you sitting there no selling 30 chops does not help that cause at all.
Sometimes I like the back and forth where they're not selling stuff, but it should be at the very beginning of the match, not like fucking almost 3/4 of the match being over, because it's like you're fresh, and they're both supposed to be like fucking superheroes basically beating the shit out of each other, and the adrenaline's high at the start of the match, so stuff's not gonna phase you. But like when you're near the end of the match and you're fucking pulling that shit, doing that shit, then it's just like, what the fuck is the point?
Yep, I agree.
Because it's like DBZ. Like at the beginning, they're like fucking. You barely see them, and they're fucking. And then, but then towards the end of the battle, they're fucking worn out, and they're one hit is fucking kicking each other's asses, and they're not doing the, you know, where you can't see them fucking beating the shit out of each other at high pace speeds.
Quick, Draven, I need a sensu bean.
I know, exactly. Yeah, at the end, you need a sensu bean.
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'll just
Yeah,
play
but
it.
fuck.
Oh God, yeah,
It'd be
I don't.
full-powered Etep, and you eat something that's the size of a little bean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah,
convenient.
the bean basically fucking heals you. It's like a healing thing.
Have a great night, Gap. Thanks for posting links, brother. Appreciate
Night,
you, man.
Gap.
Appreciate you.
Oh,
So is
yeah,
New
brother.
Japan like shitty wrestling? Shitty wrestling. Shitty wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different style. I mean, like, 'cause there's people
Yeah.
that didn't like ECW, for example, right? Like, it's not wrestling to them. And I'm not saying that New Japan isn't wrestling. I'm just saying it's not my kind of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like, you know, I'm more NWA, WCW days.
But this is the thing with the ECW. ECW, people remember the hardcore because that's towards the end what was focused on more prominently than all. They had some of the world's best technical wrestlers come through there. You did.
Yep.
And they didn't work hardcore matches. They actually wrestled, and they had fantastic fucking matches. But everybody wants to talk about the New Jacks and the Sabus and the Sandmans and, you know, the Tommy Dreamers and the Terry Funks, because as I remember, they're not talking about fucking Kid Cash versus, you know, Just Incredible putting on a foot, you know, or you know what I mean? Just off the top of my head, or Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis in '95. Working the matches that they would go on to work a year or two later in WCW that they'd already worked in Mexico, working them in Philly. And then that shit is on fucking national TV on TNT the next year when the luchadors were starting to get their shine at the beginning of Nitro. I liked ECW more at the time for the hardcore shit I did, because it was something I'd never seen before as far as like a quote unquote mainstream wrestling promotion, because they were on TV. You know, you automatically as a kid, it's like, oh shit, they're on TV. You know, you don't realize the ECW is nothing more than a bigger glorified indie promotion.
Yep.
You know,
like the next level of the indies is how I always took it. From the
it was like Ring of Honor
or prime time,
basically.
Yeah,
you know,
Ring of Honor.
Back when I was a kid, if it wasn't on TV, I was like, I didn't even realize there was all this other shit until I was older. So.
See, I did because I read the magazines.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I didn't.
Draven, we had these things called magazines, and in the magazines you had.
I know what a magazine is, damn it.
No, I know, but for those people that are trying to figure it out that grew up on tablets, they had all this stuff in the magazines though, because we didn't have the interwebs.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna grab one just for an example, just because I wanna go over some of the things that are in the back of the old wrestling magazines, because that's where you really got more of an idea of what else was out there in terms of wrestling outside of just, you know, your regular run-of-the-mill WWE stuff.
It was the Draven decks, if you will, before you, brother. And because you could get everything, and the articles were written by people, so you believed in the article because it's in the magazine, you know, for wrestling. So, you know, it's not like, you know, if the guy's writing the article, you're like, yeah, but I think wrestling was better when kayfabe was kept what it was.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like
we knew it was fake, you know, like, I mean, we knew the guys were taking bumps. We knew it was pre-planned and shit, you know, not to say fake isn't, you know, but I mean, we knew that these guys weren't really trying to kill each other. You know, it was like a dance. And it was entertaining as fuck. But then when it went away from that, it just, for me, it was just like, I don't care what they think and this and that. Just get in the ring and wrestle. That's what you're a wrestler, right? Okay.
One thing is, like, some of the characters they use, like, they're outside, like, stuff that has happened to them outside of the business for their gimmick. So I like to get that, or they use it in promos, and I like to get that. That's why I watch interviews and shit. Like Daniel Garcia, like he was in a car crash on 2 broken legs. So like him wrestling now is like, that's his thing, because he may not have been able to.
This is, if you can see it, spring 1986. This is one of my older ones. You know, I mean, look, this is just, you've got, here's the, you know, Boris Zukov and Ricky Morton. You got Tito Santana, Hogan, the Road Warriors, and then there's Stan Hansen. That's such a broad scope. I mean, here's Von Erich and Flair. And then you go to the back of these, and here is where you're like, oh shit, what's going on around the country? And you know, here's fucking Florida, the Mid-South, world class, continental, West, NWA, AWA, WWF, World Championship Wrestling, your top 10, your tag teams.
Yep.
I mean, this shit was my favorite part. And then you got, oh, what's going on over here? And they give you breakdowns from like all these different shows. And yeah, it was as a kid, dude, you couldn't, you know, and here's how we, you know, our ratings analysis, speaking of ratings. And yeah, it's like, here's, this, you know, next month, this is what we got coming up, you know? And it's like, man, I wish I could order these back issues now out of this thing. But yeah, I mean, these are fucking fantastic.
They were the golden ticket, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's, this is funny because it's got a feature on Hulk Hogan. Like, yeah, it's just, but here's, I got the, one of the posters. So here's, let's see, who's this? This is Terry Taylor and Nature Boy Buddy Landell. And then here's Andre and Bundy over there going at it. And back here, you get, what is that? Kerry Von Erich and who is that? Gino Hernandez. I mean, yeah, it's Chris Adams wearing a mask against Von Erich. And yeah, over here you get who the fuck is that? Wyndham and Blackjack Mulligan. I mean, this is just, these are fucking fantastic.
Nice.
Like, that's what I miss. Like when wrestling, you had the photographers around the ring.
Yeah.
That was, but yeah, that's what I was talking about, Draven, in the back of these, how it shows like all the different like territories. I mean, so for just for example, in the Mid-South, in 1986, in the spring of 86, your number one was Butch Reed, Dick Slater, Humongous, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Ted DiBiase, Steve Williams, Terry Taylor, Dick Murdoch, Jake Roberts, and Buzz Sawyer. World class. This is out of Texas. Rick Rude, Brian Adidas, Kerry Von Erich, Gino Hernandez, Iceman Parsons, Kevin Von Erich, Chris Adams, Lance Von Erich, Scott Casey, and the Missing Link. Florida, Lex Luger, Kendall Windham, Kevin Sullivan, Barry Windham, Wahoo McDaniel, Mike Graham, Blackjack Mulligan, Maya Singh, Hector Guerrero, Tyree Pride, Mid-South, Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantell, Coco Beware, Phil Hickerson, Harley Race, Terrace Bulba, Boda, Jerry Jarrett, and Tojo Yamamoto. I mean, this shit, yeah, I love looking at these. Your most popular right there. And at this point, Hogan was number one. Dusty Rhodes, baby. The American Dream Daddy was number two, baby. Kerry Von Erich, number 3. Magnum TA 4. Rick Martel 5. Ricky Steamboat 6. Chico Santana 7. Hacksaw Duggan 8. Barry Windham 9. And Terry Taylor number 10.
Yep.
Most hated, Ric Flair number 1. Roddy Piper number 2. Ole Anderson number 3. Nikita Koloff number 4. And this is funny because we're just about, at this point, months away from Magnum TA's accident and Nikita Koloff going from being one of the most hated to the most loved. Tully Blanchard 5. Randy Savage 6. Magnificent Morocco, the original Rock, Don Morocco. Number 7, Rick Rude 8. Gentleman Chris Adams 9. And Ted DiBiase number 10.
The only one missing on that list would be Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
And of note at this point, the number one tag team was the Road Warriors. They were the number one contender to the AWA and NWA tag titles at that point. Yeah. So there's just a little bit of wrestling history from spring of 1986 at that point. The announcers even here. You have your top 10 announcers: Jesse Ventura, Tony Schiavone, Gordon fucking Soley, number 3, 4, good old JR, Joel Watts, Mark Lawrence, Bruno Sammartino, Lance Russell, Ken Resnick, and Bill Mercer. The only one I really don't remember out of that was, I don't know Mark Lawrence. He's from World Class Wrestling. I don't know him. Lance Russell, I remember from Mid-South. Ken Resnick, I remember because he was on other shit too. And Joel Watts, I don't remember Joel Watts, but yeah, that's just some fun stuff there.
The classics for you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we're here's the guy who punched the interviewer who said it was fake, David Schultz, right there. Does that look fake to you? Yeah. That is a little, just some wrestling fucking history and some fun there for you folks. And we went way over time on this episode. It was supposed to be a half hour, and we went an hour and 30 minutes for the premiere. But yeah, there's just some wrestling news and an AEW Dynamite review. And I don't know if we do this tomorrow, it'll probably be in the evening time again. This is not the normal time for the show that it's going to be. But yeah, thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you to Godzillionaire and Slasher and Gap and Just Joe 47 and the World Class Bullshitters. Thank you guys. Dabian Donaldson, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the channel members, all 42 of you. Thank you. Instant Regret. Everybody watching over on X. We're not on Rumble tonight. But yeah, thank you. And we'll go out on the intro again. So from all us here at Wrestling with Horror, thank you very much. Have a good night, and don't let the turnbuckles bite. Wrestling and horror, that's all we do. It's time to talk wrestling with me and you. Oh, God, that was terrible.